What is going on, everybody? This is Mike from the Last Corvette. So I've been kind of MIA, as I said before. Just had a very, very busy summer. A lot of things, and had to put my family first over the car. But this Friday, I'm getting new skins for my seats. And if I have time, that's the key. I might actually swap both of the seats out. And yes, I'm going to make a video on that for sure, 100%. That would be a nice upgrade. Now the side mirrors, I've been kind of kicking the can down the road all summer, obviously not having time to actually remove them. And if I do remove them, I can't drive the vehicle until they come back. Well, in 2 weeks, we have Woodward Cruise. So what I'm gonna do is I'll probably have those mirrors removed and I'm gonna take them to the paint shop, get them painted. And once again, I did a video on my passenger side mirror because I had to swap it out because I literally took out a chunk a couple of years back, backing out, not paying attention, actually looking for my kids, not paying attention, and caught the side of the structure. But regardless, guys, this off season, we're finally going to make some good power. It's making great power now, but we're going to make some good naturally aspirated power and really beef up the motor. One of the things that I try to preach to people is when you do these projects, you want to do them right. And if you have a budget, I always said this, figure out what you want to do with the vehicle. Is it going to be a daily driver with a little bit of pep? Are you going to run 1/8 mile, 1/4 mile, a mile? What do you want to do? Because building up and saving up is just fine. You can get all your parts, and kind of just stack them up, but you need to get the right components that can jive together to produce the power that you want. Now, there is a great option offered by Texas Speed. Now, I'm not sponsored by Texas Speed. I'm just a tiny little do-it-yourselfer. Texas Speed will CNC port your heads, give you the new push rods, give you new valve springs, and basically set you up, including a cam of your choice. And of course, if you're not sure what cam to purchase, you can call them. I've called them plenty of times for different questions, and they're one of the best. You get your answers quick, you don't have to wait for a long time, and you're actually on the phone with somebody that knows LS and Chevrolet and LT applications. So they're not sitting there, let me look at this catalog. They know exactly what works and what doesn't. For example, if you want to run your stock converter, if you have an A4, A6, they'll tell you exactly what cam to put in, what cam to run, versus you buying a cam that's not suited for your application. That's just happening way too much when people build off forums, like I said, or reading magazines or posts online or whatever, YouTube videos. You don't know what that person is doing with the car. So Texas Speed for $1,700. Well, that's a base package. Now, you do need your heads. So if you do it yourself, you're saving a buttload of money. If you have a shop do it, you're still gonna save money. But for $1,700, you'll remove your heads. You will get them shipped out to Texas. They're gonna CNC port them. You obviously will pick your cam and all that stuff. But the most important part, and I already priced it out just for this video, if you do everything right, meaning that, let's say you do port your OEM stock heads, they're gonna flow much better. One of the things to remember is late model vehicles, period, especially Chevrolets, LSs, and LTs, the heads that are on these vehicles flow decent. They're not bottlenecks as people think from your 80s, 90s, early 2000s, okay? They're not. So with a little bit of a port and basically blend, you'll be able to achieve a much better flow in your head. Now, the cam is what's going to make the power. Of course, if you have it in your budget, you can purchase, PRC heads, Trick Flow heads, whatever heads you want, and they will make a little bit more power. They will also give you a little bit more strength if you're going to run boost, if you want to deck them, run higher compression. You guys get the point. But to do this right, so when you remove your heads, regardless if you're going to do this Texas Speed route and go, with just a base, meaning that you're just going to get the heads ported, cam, push rods, valve springs, and obviously you're going to need gaskets, head gaskets, valve cover gaskets, exhaust manifold gaskets for either your stock exhaust manifolds or headers. But regardless, you will need to replace those, and I always recommend GM OEM for any seals, O-rings, gasket seals. they're cheap. That's people try to run from the dealership, but they're cheap. I'm going to give you a perfect example. I have a 2021 Silverado, okay? Now, getting oil filters for this 2.7 turbo is a problem if you go aftermarket, like O'Reilly's Advanced Auto Parts. You got to order them, you got to wait. They charge, for a cheap one, they charge $12 for an oil filter. Guess what a dealership charges for an AC Delco OEM oil filter? $8. So you guys get the point. And I also did this with my C6 when I upgraded the fuel system. If you go all OEM, you will save money compared to going aftermarket. That is the proven fact, especially when replacing parts like gaskets. But anyway, a proper way of doing this, and I will be doing this job this fall. I'm going to take the top end apart again, and we're actually going to build up some real power. Now, my oil pump is going to get replaced with a high volume oil pump. My timing chain, my sprocket, my timing guide is going to get replaced. My water pump, my thermostat is going to get replaced. My harmonic balancer is going to get replaced. And no, I'm not going with the underdrive pulley. There's no need to. I'm not doing 15% and 25%. I'm just going to go with a stock balancer, and it's going to be just fine. I don't have any problems with the old one, but you got to replace the bolt anyway when you disassemble it. So why not just do it right and replace all of those parts? So you don't have to do it again, and you're going to beef up your motor. And on top of it, when you take the heads off, you will be able to inspect your cylinders, your cylinder walls, your pistons, to make sure your motor looks somewhat healthy. You're not, having scoring or notching or anything else like that on your bottom end. Now, obviously, those are components that need to be replaced, especially if you're going to build up your motor and eventually run boosts, like I want to. But one of the things that people forget, and there's a cheap way of just throwing a cam in the car and then having maybe issues down the road. Most of the time you do have issues down the road, is people forget to replace their lifters. Anytime, especially, let's forget about LS7s, whatever. Lifters on these LS motors, they wear out, especially if you see marks on the cam that you're pulling out. I always recommend, because it's so cheap, get yourself new lifters, a whole new set with trays, especially if you're going to pull the heads and remove the heads. Anyway, that's my take on it. Stay tuned, guys. Video is going to be coming out, me replacing the skin seats, removing the side mirrors, and eventually we're going to get into the motor. Unfortunately, I ran out of time this spring, had to get it tuned, had to make some decent power on ethanol, but I'll catch you guys later.